What is up, everyone? I am back, finally making YouTube videos again. Today I'm going to be talking about my new film camera that I just got. That is the Fujifilm GA645. I honestly think that this is one of the best point and shoots I've ever shot with, and it's just a really cool camera, so I want to talk about it and show some of the stuff that I've shot with it over the past few months. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Back in January when I was in Japan, I ended up buying my first ever medium format film camera, and ever since that I've fell in love with 120 film, and that's pretty much what I've been shooting with like solely since the past few months. It's just really cool having the really sharp details with also the film colors. It just looks beautiful. But as you guys know, the RB67 is a very big and heavy camera, and it's something that I can't really walk around with and move around with too quick. So that's why I ended up searching for a new point and shoot or smaller medium format film camera, and I stumbled upon my Fujifilm GA645 from my homie Linus, and I ended up getting one of those. It's a 645 film camera, and it shoots everything automatically, or you can do manual settings, and it also has autofocus, which is super clutch. I think it's one of the first film cameras or medium format film cameras with autofocus, which is really cool, and it actually works pretty well. I ended up buying this camera around 3 or 4 months ago, and I've just fell in love with this camera ever since then, and I just love shooting with it. It's super easy, and I can go through rolls so quick, and which is super rare for a medium format film camera. I obviously does cost a lot of money to shoot medium format, but just having that like ease of use for a 120 film camera is just super clutch, especially when I go to events like what I just did recently. I went to Las Vegas for the Vegas concourse, and I was out there walking around for like 5 or 6 hours and shooting a bunch of different cars, and yeah, it was just really easy just walking around with it compared to the RB67, and I've been able to shoot some of my favorite work with it since I bought it. That event itself was just really crazy, and being able to have super sharp detailed photos for an event like that with some crazy hypercars is just super cool. When I was researching this camera, I found out that there are 3 different versions of this camera. There's one with a zoom lens. I forget the millimeters on that one, but I don't really like shooting zoom lenses that much. And then there is the normal one, which is a 60 millimeter, and then there is a 45 millimeter, which is the one that I got. That is the wide, and that is the equivalent of like a 28 millimeter for a full frame, which is super wide. And it took a bit of getting used to. I usually shoot around like 45 mil with my RB, and I really like shooting tight stuff so I can shoot details, and then also like walk further back and shoot wides for like cars. But for the 28, I think it's really cool for events and stuff with like flash. This camera actually comes with a inbuilt flash, which is super bright and super clutch. I have just fell in love with shooting with that thing. I love shooting with the point and shoot with the flash at sunset or at nighttime. It just looks really cool and like really nostalgic. Just a lot of fun shooting with it, and it's super easy to autofocus and then just take photos and like, I don't know, just take photos really quick. I mean, shooting with an RB67 and going from an RB67 to shooting with this thing is just crazy, like super drastic, and I just love it so much. My personal favorite time of the day to shoot now is different because of this camera. Right after sunset, whenever you get the glow of like the orange glow on the horizon, I just love shooting that, and shooting that with a flash and then making like the background a little bit darker to where you get the colors just looks really sick, and I'm very happy with some of the stuff that I've been able to shoot with this camera so far. Some other things that this camera can do is you can change it to manual settings, which is really cool. But one of the downsides with this camera is whenever you're shooting just program mode, it tends to expose for the highlights rather than the shadows, which is kind of unfortunate, and I learned my lesson when I was shooting with this thing for the first time, and a lot of the photos that I was shooting were very dark and not usable. So if you ever want to get one of these, definitely I would recommend shooting manual mode and just using a light meter to expose stuff. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really had any problems with this camera. I've shot pretty much everything that there is to shoot with it, like long exposures and just flash stuff, just midday stuff, sunset, everything, and I just have fell in love with it. This thing comes with me everywhere I go. Anytime that I shoot anything or go to any type of events or anything, I'm always walking around with this camera, and it is super fun to shoot with. I'd say the only downside of this camera is the price. I spent $1,200 on this camera, which is not cheap, and also shooting 120 film, also not cheap, if you guys know. Yeah, I get you get 16 shots per roll of film, and if you are shooting CineStill, then that gets very expensive. I tried to shoot mainly gold with this camera because it makes each photo a little bit cheaper. It's like every roll of gold is like $6 compared to CineStill, which is like $18, which is kind of expensive, really expensive. But the photos are worth it, and I do love shooting with it. I recently just ordered a filter for this camera, which is, I think it's the shimmer filter, if I remember properly. So I'm gonna test that out pretty soon and see how it turns out, and maybe make a YouTube video from that as well, because I do want to try out some different filters with medium format, and because I've seen a bunch of other photographers shoot with like diffusion or like mist filters with medium format photos, because it gets super sharp, and just having something a little bit not sharp or whatever, making it like more blurry. I love that type of look, so I want to try it out. So maybe that's going to be the next YouTube video, I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.